Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we will solve L&T SQL interview questions. We will go through the problem statement, understand the logic step by step, and implement the optimized SQL solution. So, if you are preparing for a data engineering interview or looking to improve your SQL database skills, this video is for you. So, let's get started. The question is write a SQL query to all the users who log in on at least 3 consecutive days. So they have given a login table. If you see a login tables, we have a two column. One is a user ID and a login date. So read the question once again. The question is write a SQL query to find all the users who logged in on at least 3 consecutive days. So if you see, we have a two users, Aarav and Priya. And if you see Aarav, which is logged in 1, 2, 3, 6, and a 7. So Aarav logged in a 3 consecutive day, and after that he took a break and log in like the 6 and a 7 day. Also, if you see for a Priya, she log in for a like 2, 3, 4, 5 consecutive days, and after she login 10, so it is not a consecutive days. So if you see the output, the uh, output they want is our user name, user start date, means who log at least 3 consecutive, the consecutive start date, and end date, how much day he consecutively log in. So if you see Arav, it's consecutively log in for a 3 days, and if you see Priya, consecutively log in for a 4 days, we can say the output interviewer wants. So let's pause this video for 2-3 minutes and try to build the logic yourself. Okay, if you see, there is a login date which is for the consecutive days, like the 1, 2, 3, 4, and like the 5, 2, 3, 4. It's group by, we can say, user ID. So we need to find the row number. So we will get the row number partitions by user ID, where we will get the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as a row, as we can say row numbers for each login date. So after that, if we minus login date from that user, we will get the same numbers. Same numbers means same date. If we group by that date using like user ID and the login date, so we will get the count of that count of the consecutive login date. So let's start the query. Select, I'm going to select first, which is user ID, and after that I'm going to select login time, login time, login date. And a second thing I'm going to use, uh, like if you I want to find the difference between the day. First I will find the difference between the these day, like the difference between the day and the row numbers, because when I will give the difference between the day, like the one and a date, so I will get the specific date. Also I will give the second date and the second row number, so I will get the specific date, that say date will be the same. So I can group to find the consecutive, we can say find the consecutive days. So I'm going to use date date add or date different functions you can use. So date add functions, I'm going to provide the interval as a day, because I need to find difference between the day and row numbers. So I'm give row numbers as a Windows functions to find the function row numbers over I'm going to use order by user ID, order by user ID, sorry, partitions by user ID, partitions by user ID, partitions by user ID, and order by like login date in ascending. By default, it is the ascending order. So I am giving the name as date group. So I will get the specific date from which column from which tables I'm going to select all this. I'm going to select from the login table. Okay. Okay. I'm going to use the date add functions. And so whatever difference I will get from the day and the row number, that I'm going to count. So further, I want to find the row number difference. So I'm using the minus. So let's run this query and see what we are getting. Okay, adds row number over partition by. Okay, I think I have missed the single data. Now let's run the once again query. Date and functions require, okay, third argument. Okay, data function require three arguments. Okay, if you see three arguments means interval and how many difference do you want, and third argument is on which column you want to perform that operation. So I'm going to use the login date as for that operation. So run this query once again. See, if you see, I am getting the difference between these. So if you want to find the row numbers also, let's for the specific understanding, let's calculate the row number also. So I'm going to calculate the row number. Just give me 1 second. So what I'm doing actually, you will understand. Control C, Control V. Okay, let's run the query. Okay, see, if you see this row number as, let's give RN. Okay. Now, if you see, we have a login date as the one we are doing the like the partitions by Gora. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the Aarav user, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the Priya user. But what we are doing, we are doing the day difference. We are doing the minus of day login date minus one, like the two minus two. So we are getting the group by specific date, which is the same if we have a consecutive rows. And for the if they don't have a consecutive rows, then it will skipping like we have getting the consecutive row. And here we are not getting because the date is coming after 5 and the 10. Okay, so there is a difference in a date. So I'm going to put that in a city with CTE as. Okay, now I am going to select what I required. Select user ID. I will give the city name. Instead of the city name, I will give the like the group I. So user will understand. Right. Developer will understand. So I'm giving the city name as the group logins. So user ID what I want, and what I want is like the mean date of login to find from where he has started that consecutive days login. So main date give the consecutive main date, and I will use the max date to find the last login of the consecutive date. Okay, login date, and I'm going to use the count functions to find how many counts, how many consecutive days the user has a login. So we can say counts of days, count days. Okay, now I'm going to from which city. That city we have already mentioned that I'm going to use from city E. If we are using the aggregate function, then we need to use the group by clause. So I'm going to use the group by user ID and date group, because I'm going to do a user ID and group by date group. So I will get the user who constantly logging three over or more than times, three or the more than times. So for that, for the counting, I'm going to use the having clause, having count, which is greater than equal to 3, greater than equal to 3. Why I am using the count is the greater than equal to 3, because they have given the log in at least 3 consecutive days. So let's run this query. Okay, first let's give the name to columns as start day, as end day, and how many days we have counted. Okay, we have. So if you see the output, our start day from start the login from the one and the end the login from the three. The count day is three, because we want the login who users. We want the users who logged at least three consecutive days. Same like the Priya. Start day is the two, end date is the five. He login continuously for a 4 days. Okay, you can solve these questions by another methods like a lag or lag window function. If you have another solutions rather than that, you can write down in a comment. Also, these interview question series are helping you to prepare for the SQL database data engineering interviews. Subscribe to these channels. I will upload a new SQL video interview questions every week. Thank you.